watching AM Live coming to you from the studios of New Frontiers Television. Today is May 8th, and it is the World Red Cross Day. The World Red Cross Day is an international day dedicated to alleviating human suffering, upholding human dignity, protecting life, and preventing emergencies and natural disasters. And the World Red Cross and Red Crescent was founded by Henry Dunant, who was born on this same day in the year 1828. What exactly is the Red Cross Society? What is the clarification between Red Cross and Red Crescent? What do they do, and where do they work? Well, I won't be the one having that discussion today. I have with me the Disaster Management Coordinator of the Oyo State branch of the Nigerian Red Cross Society, Mr. Femi Bewaji. You're welcome to the studios.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Yes. First of all, I need a clarification,
okay.
And I'm sure most people do also. I keep saying Red Cross and Red Crescent. Okay. What exactly does that mean?
Well, those are the two emblems. In fact, there's an additional one, the Red Crystal.
Okay.
Okay. But they are one. That is what portrays the one of the principles of the Red Cross, the unity principle of the Red Cross. Three emblems, but operating as one. The Red Cross started, like you have rightly introduced, the emblem Red Cross came into existence in the year 1864.
Okay.
But in operation, at a particular point, there was this war called the Russo-Turkish War. That is the war between Russia and Turkey, you know, in which the members of the armed forces of the Turkey as a nation then refused to take assistance from members of the Red Cross who were supposed to be neutral to serve both parties.
Okay.
You know, and after the war, there was an investigation into what led into that, and it was discovered that they had the opinion that the cross, you know, is related to the Christian sect, and they don't want to have anything to do with the Christian sect. Okay, that was what brought about the idea of, okay, if it is about the emblem, you can have whatever you want to use, but we'll still operate under a single humanitarian umbrella. So that is why the Red Crescent came into operation. But it doesn't connote, we try to tell people this, it doesn't connote that there are nations that are Islamic-based nations, and there are nations that are Christian-based nations, you know. It doesn't connote, it's purely political, it's purely based on legislation. Whichever you want, you adopt. There are Islamic-based countries that uses the Red Cross,
okay.
You know. So it doesn't, it's still the same emblem operating under the same humanitarian organization.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. So back to the Red Cross Society as a whole. How would you describe the Red Cross Society? Give us a background information on what Red Cross is all about. Okay,
Red Cross is the foremost and largest humanitarian organization in the world, with membership of over 500,000 network of members in Nigeria alone. And Red Cross, either the Red Cross or Red Crescent, is presently present in 198 countries of the world. I think there are 202 countries in the world, and Red Cross is in 198 countries out of the 202. You know, like I said, it's the largest humanitarian organization that is established to be an auxiliary to the government in the area of public health.
Okay.
And we have two basic main arms of programs, which are disaster management and health. Okay, so we are auxiliary. We are not NGO. Okay. Like some people, you know, believe, because the Red Cross is established, especially in Nigeria, by the Act of Parliament, okay, of 1960. It was duly legislated and it was passed by law. That is why you have it as Nigerian Red Cross, not Red Cross of Nigeria like some other organization. It's Nigerian Red Cross. Nigeria adopted it as its own arm of that particular organization.
So in area of public health, what is the role Red Cross plays?
Yeah, like I said, we are auxiliary to the government. And like I said, we have two arms of programs. We are disaster management and health. Under our health programs, we have several. We are involved in immunization programs, you know, as as the government involves us and other organizations involves us, we are into HIV/AIDS, anti-stigmatization and home-based care. We have the Mothers Club, we have youth development activities, and we publicly train first aid. That is our major product, and we try as much as possible to disseminate that and propagate the gospel of first aid, so that when eventualities happens, people will know what to do, people will know how to take charge, because we believe, and generally it is believed that the action you take when there is an emergency determines whether the person is going to live or die. And since it's about alleviating human suffering, promoting dignity of life and preserving life, is our major product, and we preach it every time, we disseminate it, and we want to train as many people as possible to be able to handle such situations. In the disaster management aspect of it, we have a very vibrant disaster management response unit that operates whenever there is disaster, whenever there is emergency like that. It's a very big network, okay, and there are professionals trained in that field that immediately it happens, they don't wait for invitation, they don't have to wait until you call them. They hear and they move. And like I said, it has a very big, complex network of structure, in the sense that if it's overwhelmed the local volunteers, if the disaster is that overwhelming that the local volunteers cannot handle, there's a national disaster response team of the Red Cross who comes in to complement the effort of that. And if it goes beyond that, if they are also overwhelmed, there is the regional disaster response team. That's a team that can operate all over Africa, who also comes in to complement the efforts of those people.
Okay. Back in the days, I remembered when we were in school, there's the Red Cross groups in majority of our schools. Though, okay, I'm not
we have very vibrant, I don't want to mention them, but we have very vibrant Red Cross school units. In fact, part of the activities for this 1 week celebration in the school first the best,
Okay, I was coming to the celebration, coming down to Oyo State now. What activities has been ongoing for the celebration of the World Red Cross Day? Okay,
the activities for the 2017 World Red Cross Day celebration started on Monday. It started with a public rally. The youth of the society, the youth arm of the society gathered together, and they did a public awareness rally all over the place. It was a very big jamboree, And on Tuesday, the executive committee of the Red Cross went to the motherless zone, where we, donated our widow's mite too, And on Wednesday, we did blood donation drive. Actually, it's an annual program we always incorporate into the World Red Cross Day celebration. We did membership drive. Members, came and donated blood. We did this in collaboration with Nigerian Blood Transfusion Service. They came to the office and we gathered, and all of us gave, blood. Because it's all about giving, it's all about service anyway. Then on Thursday, we had this inter-school competition that I mentioned. On Friday, we went to Arishikola Mosque at Iwo Road. It's a non-religious organization. So all of us, be Christians and Muslims, we all went to the mosque on Friday, and we observed the Jumat with them. And on Saturday, it was a youth day. We just gave it to the youths to do their thing. And what they did was they did this lecture on career talk and everything. They invited a guest, a motivational speaker who came to talk to them on career and everything. And Sunday we were at All Saints Church, Jericho, for the Thanksgiving service. It was a very beautiful time at the All Saints Church yesterday, and today is the grand finale. Everybody will be coming to the office there at Onireke, number 2 Onireke, and it's going to be a big celebration. The whole place is agog already.
Okay, the Red Cross Society is doing so well, both internationally and locally in Nigeria. How do they, there's one thing I've always wondered, that How does the Red Cross get that kind of network? You said it earlier that it has a kind of complicated network where if the local team is not able to handle the national team, and you see anywhere there's disaster, there's so many of them on ground to work. And how does the Red Cross manage such? How do they get people that work with the Nigerian Red Cross?
Well, Red Cross, the strength of the Red Cross anywhere in the world, the strength of the Red Cross anywhere in the world is the network of volunteers. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's majorly volunteers.
It's majorly volunteers.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean there are no staffs that are working as administrative, officers in different capacities, but it's majorly, the strength is majorly volunteers. Okay, who comes to render their service, who comes to give their time. Okay. Some even come to give their resources. Okay, and that is how it is all over the world. And like we say, amidst ourselves when we were together, that it's like a spirit that when it enters you, you just want to be there. You just want to do it. You just want. You don't care about even the risk or the economic whatever that is attached to it. You just want to. You just want to help. You just want to. That is why the theme for this year's celebration is everywhere for everyone. Red Cross everywhere for everyone. So it's a network of volunteers that we have. They are volunteers. They are not being paid, but yet they are effective. They do it. And I think one other thing that the Red Cross owed as a very key area of strength is the area of capacity building. Okay. We get trained and retrained and retrained to keep building our capacities in different areas of operation every time. It's an ongoing thing. Training keeps going on at every point in time to keep bringing our volunteers to international level and standards. So as a trend of operations in emergency changes, or operations in medical operations and being first responder changes, we make sure that our volunteers are up to date in these areas.
Okay, you talked about training. Who exactly is in charge of this training?
Well, like I told you, we have two basic arms of operation.
Yes.
And in all those basic arms is a ranking. I forgot to mention that it's a ranking organization. It's a ranking organization.
Can you quickly, before you go on, quickly give all the rundown of the ranks?
When you come in freshly, you come in, you do a course, you do a certain. That's why it's also academic, because we deal with life. So you really need to know what you're doing. Okay, you come in and do a course, and like I told you, age is not a barrier anyway. So when they come in as a junior Red Cross, you are junior Red Crosses, and they do something. They do a course called Basic Life Support. Okay. You will marvel at what these little kids, 5, 6, 7 can do.
You have people as young as
that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As young as that. As young as 3.
Oh, okay.
As young as 3.
Wow.
JRC. As young as 3, and they do a course. Before you can even wear the uniform, you go through the basic life support. Then from there you go to practical first aid. Then you'll be able to wear the blue badge of the Red Cross that shows you as a first aider, qualified first aider. Then you go on to do the leadership course. You do advanced first aid. You do standard first aid. Standard first aid is a first aid that is practiced internationally. Then from there you go to community-based first aid, in which you can marry your standard thing with what people do at the community level to alleviate a particular situation. Then you become a trainer. Okay, you become a trainer. You do a trainer's course, then you become a trainer. Then there is a new course, you can also become a master trainer, So it's these trainers and master trainers that are in charge of all these trainings. And they are the ones that can certify that, yes, you're a first aider. No, you are not qualified. You still need to retake the course. So
how would you describe the relationship between the International Committee of the Red Cross and the national one here in Nigeria?
Okay. Like the Red Cross, the Red Crescent, and Red Crystals are one. So you have the International Committee of the Red Cross, International Federation of the Red Cross, and the National Society, the Nigerian Red Cross Society. Okay, this is just what the relationship looks like. Every nation has equal status. Every nation that has either the Red Cross, the Red Crescent, or the Red Crystal has equal status. We call them the National Society, like the Nigerian Red Cross Society, which I represent. Okay. Now, The International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Society is a body that brings together all the nations of the world that has either the Red Cross or Red Crescent.
Okay.
Okay. So, in the International Federation of the Red Cross, as nations as members, not individuals.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have the highest body, that is the International Committee of the Red Cross. Okay, made up of mostly Swiss citizens. Okay. And they have different mandates. At the national level, Nigerian Red Cross Society, we respond to any kind of emergency, either health, either man-made, either natural, wherever the people are affected, we are there. Okay, we have multifaceted mandates, so to say. Now, the International Federation of the Red Cross only operates on natural disaster.
Okay.
Natural disaster. But like I told you, they don't have members, individual members. They have nations as members.
Yes.
So what they do is their operation also goes through the national society that is existing. So if they want to do anything in Nigeria, they're still going to use the Nigerian Red Cross members and personnel to carry out their programs. You understand?
Yes,
now the same with the ICRC, International Committee of the Red Cross. They respond to conflicts, you know, and mediations between nations that are going into conflict. Their mandate centers around conflicts, wars, and stuff like that. Okay? And yet, they don't operate on their own. Whatever they want to do, they still go through the local national society to carry out whatever assignment they are carrying out. So you can see that there's this relationship that is, you know, that is not making each of them to stand alone.
Yeah.
Though individual, separate bodies, but they don't stand alone. They work together, you know, with the national society to do whatever they want to do.
Okay. Bringing it down to Oyo State.
Okay.
And as your position as the disaster management coordinator, one of the natural disasters that we know is common in Oyo State is the issue of flooding. Flooding, whenever there's rain, the people are scared to go out of their homes. How have you been able to manage all of this as the Red Cross Society? Okay.
Disaster management is not just about responding when it has happened.
Okay.
Okay. Is a continuum that starts from prevention, mitigation, preparedness. Then when it happens, you have the response. Then after, you have rehabilitation, you have reconstruction and stuff like that. Okay. Whenever it happens, like we already know that the rainy season is coming, and we have done something like the hazard mapping.
Okay.
We have the map of areas that are prone to flood all over the states. Okay, not just flood. Our hazard mapping includes areas that are prone to different, you understand, outbreaks, because there are some areas that is an annual thing. It may not be flood, but the flood seems prominent. So having known this, preparedness and training and resources mobilization has been going on for months.
Okay.
Okay, recruitment of more members into the team into the disaster management and response team. Training of the old ones and the new ones has been ongoing for months, so that when it eventually happens, we can effectively get there on time, because we boast on the fact that we are always the first on the scene and the last to leave the scene. So training, things are going on. Disaster management activities are going on, preparedness is going on, mitigation is going on, you know, and mobilization of resources and materials to give to people that are affected if it eventually happens, which we are not praying for anyway, but we are preparing. We are preparing.
Okay, well, while we appreciate your work and efforts, there's this part of, I know there are people who want to join, but they're scared because you mentioned first to get there, last to leave the scene.
Yeah.
How do you ensure the safety of your members? I've seen videos of some of the things that these people do, and I'm wondering how do they get out of it alive? So how do you ensure safety of your members?
Well, one of the trainings, like I said, one of the trainings you receive is there's a particular training called Safer Access.
Okay.
We know that we don't have two lives.
Yeah.
We understand we don't have two lives. And the society does so much in making sure that you're safe.
Okay.
You know, we do so much. They give you PPEs, personal protective equipment and materials, and that they make sure that there are protocols in place that guarantees your safety. There are protocols, there are places you don't go until you have some particular conditions.
Okay.
There are times you wrap up operations. There are times you open operations, because the safety, whoever is going to rescue anybody has to be safe, you know.
Yeah.
So safety is also seriously put into consideration. That's why there is a whole package of courses on its own, Safer Access in Emergency, which is basically to train our members on how to be safe when you're carrying out operations.
Okay. You talked initially about the federal government adopting the Nigerian Red Cross Society. So how would you describe the relationship between the federal government and the Nigerian Red Cross?
Well, it's a good relationship, though I must say at this point that we're not enjoying as much support as we would have loved to have from the government, as the brainchild of the government, if I can say that. But while I won't also blame the government, is because we operate on 7 fundamental principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality. Then we have the 4th one, which is independent. Okay, it's independent. Independent in the sense that you are not supposed to be under the control of the government. You know, like we say, we are auxiliary to the government. We design and carry out our own programs and execute them on our own. Okay, because the society is based on doing it on your own without being dictated to, or without being cornered, you know, politically. Okay, so I think that is one area that is not making us to have enough of support that we should have from the government. But that doesn't mean that the government doesn't recognize. The government recognizes us, the armed forces recognizes the work of the Red Cross. And if I'm to say this, they recently released 82 Chibok girls.
Yes.
The Red Cross was at the forefront to, you know, do the negotiation.
That's one thing we should actually applaud you guys for.
Of course. And as a matter of addition, we conveyed the 82
girls,
you know, with our vehicles and our resources. We conveyed them all the way from where they were kept to. So it shows that the government actually recognizes the rules of the Red Cross. But I'm using this opportunity to also say we need more. We need more. Yeah. So
apart from the government, how does the Nigerian Red Cross get its funding?
Yeah, when members comes in, there is a very token amount that we pay as members as annual due, once annually. Very token, as little as 100 naira, you know. You know, that members pays all over the world, you know, to finance the activities of the Red Cross. We have philanthropists too. Who comes in and give periodically, though that is coming down because of, you know, the recession and the economic situation of the country. Then we have participating societies and donors agencies abroad, you know, who also participate in our programs whenever the needs arises, you know. So that is
okay. So you mentioned blood donation. Blood donation drive. What are the basic things that citizens should know about donating blood? Because I know that's one, I think it was last year we went out on the blood donation day, and the reaction of people towards blood donation is still not impressive as it should be. Of course, we know developed countries, people donate blood free of charge, but here in Nigeria, people sell blood. You get to buy, and to convince people to donate freely is something that seems to be difficult. So what would be your advice to people on donating blood?
Well, we are doing our bits. It's not our main activity, but because we are enlightened, we know that blood is life. Because we see accidents every day, and we know that a lot of people lose their life simply because they have lost blood and there's nobody to give to them. So as far as members of the Red Cross are concerned, we know the importance of these particular activities of giving blood, and sometimes it's not even the society thing. Sometimes we have been imbibed with such knowledge that we do it on our own. I do it frequently, you know, it's not about Red Cross now. I make it a point of duty to do it on my birthday. So all my friends, whenever they come, you want to eat cake, you want to celebrate, let's go and give blood first. So we go, we donate blood, then we come back and party.
Okay.
You know, so it's a personal thing, but I feel the people that are in charge, the Nigerian Blood Transfusion Services, should do more to enlighten people, to let people know, to let people know. It's all about information dissemination. It's about awareness. It's about making people to understand that it's even good for them. It's even good for them. You know, it's about making people to know. You know.
Okay. Before you go, what are the basic first aid tips? I know that when we went to school, those are the first things the Red Cross will tell you that, oh, do this when you're. So give us some basic first aid tips that everyone should.
All right. So as not to waste time on this program, I will talk about the golden principles of administration of first aid. Okay, which a lot of people violate anyway. A lot of people violate, but I think this is an opportunity for people to know that when there is an emergency, you need to be calm. If you're going to do anything, you need to be calm. Number two, you need to be safe. Okay, then we go to this wonderful one. We need to reassurance. It's a very serious thing, but a lot of people violate that. You know, reassurance, and as you are managing, you are letting the person know, don't worry, you'll be fine, you'll be okay. Because whenever there is an occurrence of an emergency or anybody is injured, tension heightens. Okay? So as a first aider, you need to do everything possible. But it's not just about saying sorry. You know, it's not about saying sorry. Reassurance has gone beyond saying sorry, Bele, sorry, you know. It has gone beyond that. It has gotten to the level that you try as much as possible to take the mind of the person out of that particular situation. Imagine you are trying to handle somebody that is bleeding, and as you are doing the bandaging and everything, you are talking football. You know, I say, did you watch the match of Arsenal and Man U yesterday? You know, temporarily the mind will be off that, and you know, so reassurance. Another thing is, do not give anything by mouth to an unconscious person. This is very, very rampant. Whenever anybody slumps, people don't want to know why the person slumped. There are so many situations that can make somebody to slump or collapse. Okay, there are so many situations. It could be heart attack, it could be head injury, it could even be stroke, it could be asphyxia. There's so many conditions. It could even be diabetes, you know, could make anybody slump. But the first thing that comes to the mind of people is, let's pour water, even in this cold environment. Even when it's raining, the first thing that comes to the mind of people is pour water on him. You know, I've seen situations that they kept pouring water and the person is busy, the person was busy gasping for breath. The person wants to breathe, they pour water. They don't want to breathe, they pour water. It's not that they are being callous, they just simply don't know. So it's not just about pouring water. And a lot of people make the mistake of put something in the mouth. Just put milk, put this, put that. When somebody is unconscious, when somebody cannot talk, at that moment, you don't give anything by mouth. You don't pour water. You just ensure that the person can breathe air freely. Okay. So I think there's so many situations that people mismanage. When there's broken bone, before you do anything, before you move the person, make sure you immobilize. Just get something tight, prevent the place from moving. Okay. So these are tips. Prevent the place from moving and stop all bleeding. Whenever you see blood, don't shout, don't cry. Just get something, tie up the place, and make sure the place that is bleeding is raised above the heart level. Okay? Because when we say we want to stop blood, don't use all this primitive method. Put gear oil, put brake oil, put all manners of oil. Okay? All you need to do is bleeding from here, raise it above the heart level. Find something to put pressure on this place, and 2-3 minutes it's going to stop. It doesn't require.
Why does it have to be above the heart level?
Because if it's like this, the heart is pumping directly, so the force of pumping will make it to gush out the blood. But if it's up, it's just like our water, you know, our water system at home where we put our tanks so that you can have more pressure coming in, you know. So that's just the thing. So if you have it like this, the pressure from the heart to the place where the bleeding is, you know, will reduce on its own. You have done first by first raising that place above the heart beat level. You have done level of first aid.
That's something I'm taking away from the show. Now I know better when there's a cut or bleeding. Thank you so much, Mr. Femi Bewaji.
Thank you very much for having me. And let me use this medium to appreciate my chairman, Barrister Mrs. Mujisola Yabodi Ojo. She's the person that is supposed to be here as the first, as the #1 Red Crosser in Oyo State. And my Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Kolawole Kazim, the branch secretary and the chief executive officer. But like I told you, the whole place is agog. There's no way they can disengage themselves to be here. That's why I'm. So what you are hearing from me, you are hearing from them.
And of course, we're waiting to have our own share of the celebration. Okay, that's the watch we'll be taking on World Red Cross Day. In case you don't know, the Red Cross Society helps to alleviate human suffering. They uphold human dignity. They help in cases of natural disaster and also contribute their quota toward public health. And we've been having the discussion with the disaster management coordinator of the Oyo State branch of the Nigerian Red Cross Society, Mr. Femi Bewaji. That's all for AM Live today. Do join us again tomorrow for another interesting topic as we x-ray issues in the world. My name is Adiola Adegoke.